Hi, reader and friend of all things Outlander. The story of Outlander can release you to give yourself permission to be happy. Let's talk about it together today. If you're joining me, I would love for this to be a discussion. So feel free to chime in anytime, even if it's after being live. So before we fall through the stones and talk about how, do you want to find out more about what can be your story and how Outlander can help? Be sure to grab a gemstone just in case and subscribe to my channel, Jenny Wells Reads. So let's talk about episode 7 of season 4, Down the Rabbit Hole. Now, if you're just joining me for the first time, what I like to do on these Facebook Lives is talk about each episode as it related to me personally, to hopefully give you some ideas about how it can relate to you personally. So for me, the theme that I picked up on in last week's episode was that we need to give ourselves permission to be happy. And I would say Frank was never able to give that to himself. So if you remember, which I'm sure you do because you, like me, love all things Outlander, we see Frank pretty miserable in this episode for the most part. He's drinking heavily. He's drunk in front of his daughter. He and Claire have been together for 20 years and have not been able to make it work. 20 years is a really long time. And we could talk about, and if you want to chime in, that would be great, about staying together for the children's sake. What do you think about that? As someone who's been married 25 years and raised 3 children of my own, it's a question that has definitely come up in being with someone for half of my life. And so I'm wondering what you think, because to see Frank so miserable gave me pause. Now let's compare that to Leary. Leary also cannot give herself permission to be happy. She's not numbing with alcohol, but she is numbing with bitterness. And you see that this goes on year after year after year after year. And my heart goes out to these characters because I'm somebody who does not give myself permission to be happy very easily. I face things in my life and I feel like, you know what? I gotta make this work. Come hell or high water, I'm going to persevere. I'm going to put the pedal to the metal. I'm going to put my nose to the grindstone, and this will work. Meanwhile, I'm getting more and more and more miserable. And, I think of Leary telling Bree that there was so much joy in that time when Jamie was there with her and the girls. Joni's on his knee, Marsley's by his side, and they're telling each other Bible stories. And I'm thinking, well, we know Jamie wasn't happy. Jamie tried to make her happy, to make Leary happy, claimed that he couldn't. Leary is telling herself a falsehood. She is saying that the days in the past were better than they are now. Is that true? Has she ever really known in her heart of hearts that Jamie Fraser loved her? Leary and Frank have not been able to give themselves permission to be happy. If you're joining us for the first time, again, please chime in because I would love to hear what you think about Frank's journey. Frank's journey is tragic, and I apologize. There's construction next door today, if you can hear that. Frank's journey is tragic. Could he have changed it? Could he have done something besides drink and have an affair to suffer through this pain? Now, he does find a lot of joy in Bree, and we can talk about that. But at the same time, I've always wondered, He knows this is Jamie's daughter. It's right there. How do we live with these things that we can't change? I feel like, that are based on the circumstances that people have made and the choices people have made around us. I have things in my life that people have made choices about that have affected me and hurt me deeply. What do I do about that? How do I live with that? So let's talk about a character in this episode who I think does choose happiness, even though the choices that others have made around her have not gone well for her, and that's Joni. God bless Joni. She must miss Jamie so much. And let's think about this. Jamie and Claire have chosen to be happy. Both of them have had to leave children that they love in order to be together. And making that choice we know, was so difficult, but they made that choice for themselves and have had to trust that the children are going to be okay. Would I have that courage? That's a great question. And Joni, she celebrates Bree being there. She misses Jamie. And she helps Bree escape. It would be very easy for her to be like her mom and clutch the people that she loves close to her and manipulate them and make them do what they don't want to do to try to make it work. But Joni doesn't do that. She rejoices in seeing her Uncle Ian. She sends Bree off with a blessing, and she faces her mother's wrath. Joni gives herself permission to be happy even in difficult circumstances. Yay, Joni. So, will you give yourself permission to be happy? Outlander can release us and show us how and give us clues. But how did you fall through the stones this week? How did this episode affect you personally? We say Outlander has changed our lives. I'm here to help us get specific. So if you want a little help getting specific, go and take my quiz. I will have a link here for you. You can find out the gift that Outlander wants to give you. And please share it. Please share this quiz, because Outlander is such a gift and it has gifts to give all of us. And I want to help you get some ideas about what that can be like. So, friend and reader of all things Outlander, make the magic of Outlander more than a fantasy. I believe as a bookstore owner and as a speaker and a teacher that discovering a good story helps you live a good story. I'll see you next week. Sassenach and Scots.